Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Look, man. Look. It's your Carolina cousin, right? Way Jay. Hope it's all going well. Hope all is going well our day today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, man. I just want to come through, man. Just holler at y'all, man. Just see how everything's going, man. Just talk to y'all about a few things that's been going on this week, man. Ooh, Lord, that's been crazy, man. When I tell you, I mean, hey, man. I mean, just starting off with me, for example. I mean, if it ain't one thing, it's another. I mean, last week my tire blew out. This week, my car just went just dead on me. Now, remind you, I had it for 10 years. You know, it's 2016 Dodge Dart. It's 2025. You know, it is what it is. It's already been discontinued and everything. So I'm like, yeah, it's just time. But yeah, just dealing with that. Still finding time to, making time to work out and having to handle different business ventures and starting new ventures and focusing on things that I needed to do as far as with the podcast, Lost Soul Survivor. Definitely shout out Tronics Network. Definitely shout out Nebula. Definitely shout out Radio Pushers, 99.7 The Heat Miami, Power 102.8 LA. Oh man, just a gang of great people that we're doing phenomenal things with. Definitely be lookout on the future. Also look out for the Lost Soul Survivor, which is on Look Who TV. Shout out Look Who TV, doing some phenomenal things with them as well. All right, now that we got all that promo out the way, because remind you, I'm still getting used to doing all this. Like I'm still learning how to like really talk on camera like that. So bear with me. But anyway, just going about a few things that happened this week. For one example, I ain't gonna say example, but for one, definitely rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Very, very talented actor, very great human being, just all around, just phenomenal human, actor, poet, musician. I mean, you name it. Like he was just such an inspiration in knowing with Malcolm that he didn't have any type of like real he didn't have any scandals. Like I remember how Eddie Griffin said on funny Eddie Griffin said on Vlad TV that nobody in Black Hollywood leaves clean. You know, they got to have some type of dirt on you. From OJ Simpson, Michael Jackson, Prince, R. Kelly, Diddy, they got to have some type of dirt on you. Malcolm Jamal Warner is one of the only ones that I know of currently at this moment that has left the game clean. Unfortunately, drowning in Costa Rica and definitely those side of the waters that he drowned in, uh, very treacherous on the Pacific side. The Atlantic side is not too bad from what I heard, but the Pacific side, which is what he was on, very treacherous on those waters. So I urge people whenever you're going out to swim, if there's any type of red flags in the area, like, hey, let me just chill on the beach today. Like I won't go into the water. I can look from the sand and like, okay, but as soon as the water starts coming a little too close to the toes, I'm like, all right, we gotta go. Yes, indeed. But I remember Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, from the Cosby Show. I mean, but he also did Malcolm and Eddie, The Resident, Suits, American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson, where he played AC, OJ's best friend. He did a great job in that as well. I just wanted to mention that. But I love the character Theo. Like he was somebody that you can relate to. Like you've seen a guy like Theo before. Like he's believable. That's what I loved about it is that he was believable, and just the Cosby Show in general, it just showed that we were bigger than just the stereotype that was put out of just being in the hood and poor and just scratching and surviving. Like, no, we can be out here surviving. We can be out here thriving, doing phenomenal things. Attorneys, doctors, kids growing up to be normal kids that they didn't deal with like hood like problems per se. They dealt with just regular people problems, and it was like that's great. We needed to see more of that. So just the character that Malcolm Jamal Warner played so much to our childhood. It just meant so much. And again, just rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. His condolences to his family, all of his fans, close ones. Condolences through this tough time. And may God just continue to work out his way, the way he sees fit. Rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Now, on a lighter note, Cash Out. Well, not a lighter note, but but the rapper Cash Out. For those who don't know, he had that song. Oh, I'm cashing out. I'm cashing out. Hey, round with her on that kiss. You know, she's working. And she's working. And she's working. Like, yeah, that dude. All right. He got sentenced to life plus 70 years. Caught up in a RICO. His friend, what was his friend name? Taylor. His friend was named Tyrone Taylor. He was also caught up in the RICO Act as well. She was brought into the mix as well. Apparently, they were all luring in victims to become prostitutes down in Atlanta. She got sentenced to 30 years for her participation in what was going on with her son, whose actual name is John Michael Gibson. Looking at the Cash Out story and just reading some of the details on the stories, what it says to me is that what happens to artists once that light starts to dimmer, you know, when the shows that you used to get, you can't get them no more. The demand isn't where it used to be, but you still got to make ends meet. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do they do? Now, if they're smart, they'll understand how to pivot into other things that can bring them other avenues of revenue. However, a lot of people don't think about the consequences of going into certain endeavors. And we're talking about prostitution, and we're talking about, racketeering, and there was some very disgusting details. I know the judge was saying something along the lines that the judge said that the verdict, wait, hold on, I got it right here. The judge showed that the verdict reflected prosecutors have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that the diabolical conduct of the defendants occurred, and her sentence would be responsive to that. So apparently, this judge really didn't. How shall I say? No, let me say it like this: the judge could clearly see that this person deserved to be behind bars to do to do what he was doing with these women. We're talking about, you know, prostitution. We're talking about abuse. We're talking about holding women against their will. Like, these are not things that are of community building. These are things that are of community destruction. Those type of individuals absolutely deserve to be behind bars. Let's just call a fact a fact. Now, be that he chose that route to go down, that was his decision at the end of the day. Not everybody made that decision. Chameleonaire, he got into the tech world, and I mean he's doing phenomenal. And I mean, remind you, when's the last time you heard a hit song, just a song from Chameleonaire? Not even a hit song, a song from Chameleonaire. You see what I'm saying? Like, every artist, they reach a point where, like, that light dims and they have to pivot. You either gonna pivot to the left or you're gonna pivot to the right. But you're gonna pivot. Depending on the amount of information that you have and the humbleness that you're willing to have to accept new information that it comes in will determine whether or not you will be able to pivot in the right way. Because, again, depending on your lifestyle habits, I'm assuming, like, Cash Out had a very fast paced lifestyle, so money was coming like this. And seeing that he went down the route of racketeering and prostitution says to me that, okay, apparently you was doing some things along the way that you didn't build the right bridges, and you might have burned some of the wrong bridges. So you had no, you didn't see it at a certain, you didn't see at a point that there was another way. Not giving an excuse to it. I'm saying like this is. I'm assuming that this is the mindset that he had at this time. That okay, the money's not coming in like I was supposed to. I need to get some money. What can I do? Okay, this is in front of me. I'm going to do this. Not saying it. Not saying that it's right. Because again, I don't agree with it at all. I'm just saying this is what he was thinking. Even with that being said, my question now becomes: why was that the thing that came to your mind? Why was that the thing that you said? I'm going to lock that in my mind first. I'm going to pimp these girls out and get money off of them and build my and get some bread coming in to my establishment so I can keep this thing rolling. There was no other way. I mean, if we're looking at the internet, if we're looking at the internet, we're looking at the world today. We're looking at like just how there's just so many different avenues to get revenue. It's just all about building your audience, building your fan base. At the end of the day, that's the way you want to build a fan base, because that's all you need is the people. So I mean, I urge like any artist, like, dude, listen. If you feel like that light is dimmer, and like a friend of mine told me like this, and I'll never forget. He said, "Dreams expire," and you know what? To 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 a degree, I understand where he was coming from, and my response to that would be this: when they do expire, new ones arise. The choice is: are you willing to go after this new one or not? You know, like just understanding that this this is a real deep conversation. I didn't even think it was going to be this deep, but just understanding these cautionary tales, because you still have to keep the lights on at the end of the day, regardless of whatever you're trying to pursue. Even if you get on to the point where you're actually like doing major tours and you're getting major press and radio runs and awards, and remind you, after a while, your fan base moves on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's no different athletes. Great example. Like, LeBron is not going to play the same way today as he did in the early 2000s. He's not. And it's called life, age. It happens. How do you pivot? Okay, let me start opening up schools. Let me start doing some philanthropy work. Let me start investing in different businesses. Pivot. But if you pivot from radio runs, successful tours, hit songs, to pimping girls in the streets, bruh, what? How did we get here? Like on the really, cause like, how did we get here? You know. So, in closing on this topic, uh, good luck with his case. I know he's trying to fight for a new trial and things of that nature, and I'm like, hey, good luck. That's all I can say. But I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, they let Thug, they got Thug out of the way. You think they gonna let? And they let Thug. Hey, nah, bro. Hey, Thug got off, man. Thug got off. Lose y'all chill. Nah, bro, you got to go, man. But only time will tell. He might be able to get an appeal. He might be able to get it reduced. Maybe. Doubt it. But maybe. We'll see. But anyway, the next thing that I want to speak on was CBS canceling the late night shows. Now, CBS, Paramount, they they went through a legal battle with Donald Trump. Donald Trump won. I want to say it was like 16, was it 16 million? Hold on, let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it was either 16 million, 16 million, what was it, CBS? Uh, I'm sorry, versus Donald Trump. Was it 16? No. Yeah, 16 million. CBS Paramount settled the lawsuit for 16 million. There we go. Settled it for 16 million. Okay. So they settled the lawsuit with Donald Trump for 16 million. All right. So Paramount CBS, that's 8 million a pop. So 8 million a pop from CBS, 8 million a pop from Paramount. Got to go to Donald Trump. All right. The late night shows aren't really doing so well. People aren't really tuning in like that. So like, okay, we got to cancel these shows. We got to cancel some more shows so that we can come up with the bread to pay Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump is also, because like it's getting into, because he was suing Paramount basically for the 60 Minutes interview that was done with Kamala Harris. He was saying that there was some type of jankiness going on about that, and that might have had something. She basically accusing them of trying to interfere with the elections, that whole thing. Because Donald Trump, he hates like certain news media. He always calls them like fake news or whatever like that. So he's just going against those guys. All right, which is really good for his base, because his base loves when he goes against those guys. Like they tune in like it's WWE wrestling. And well, speaking of wrestling, real short, uh, rest in peace, the Hulk Hogan. Definitely watched him as a kid. Definitely remember him really well. What you gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you, brother? Like, yeah, I remember that very well. The whole NWO, Hulk Hogan, and I remember that. But I also know for a fact that he definitely said some very racist remarks, and he stood 10 toes on it. And yeah, bro, can't forget that, man. So I guess rest in peace. Uh, that's all you're gonna get about out of me, man. But anyway, going back to Donald Trump and going against the news media, the fake news guys and all that. He's still trying to appeal to that, and in the course of doing that, that's what's keeping some of his base there. But there are other members of his base that are actually looking at the whole thing with Epstein, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we don't like this whole thing with Epstein, and you like not actually releasing the files, and you're dragging this out, bro. You're making us look like we voted for the wrong guy. So like there's a real like internal beef with MAGA. There's not going to be an internal beef with CBS, Paramount, and the shows. Like there's going to be a beef in Hollywood. Like I can see how there's going to be a beef in Hollywood. Like once these layoffs hit for real, oh, there's going to be some beefing going on. Not just in Hollywood. I mean, in just America, period. Because there's gonna be a lot of layoffs that's about to happen, and a lot of people about to be hurting. Like between now and Christmas, it's about to get ugly. You hear me? So I tell any and everybody, like, listen, man. Whatever, if you getting some type of money right now, hold on to every last quarter, nickel, and dime, because it's gonna come a time very soon within the next 6 months where shit about to hit the fan. Folks gonna be hurting. Folks gonna be ready to do whatever they got to do to get some money, and it's gonna get real. And why did my phone keep going out? Because I keep going through my notes. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on with that because I think I said enough about that. Anyway, Obama. Okay, so Obama is talking about um, that men, that little boys should have gay male role models. Like, even if they have a father, they should have gay male role models. Now, I don't have any biological children of my own, but I do have a father, and he was there, and I understood about being a man from him. So I never needed like a gay man to tell me that. Like, if I wanted to understand about, you know, I guess the other side of men, the opposite side of men, like the side of men that a woman would see, I would look for a woman. I would look to my mom. My mom would be able to point things out about my dad, blind spots. My dad would be able to point things out about my mom, her blind spots. So I learned from both of them. So for you to say that, I had a gay teacher and he showed me, you know, things that have really helped me progress in life. I mean, if that worked for you, I mean, okay, cool. But to say that, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you learn, you don't have, I mean, even if you don't have your father, I mean, there's other, men. Like, you have, your father, uncles, older cousins, men from the neighborhood, men from the barbershop. There's plenty of options. You don't necessarily have to go there. But I mean, looking at everything with President Obama and how they was calling him, how they still call him the first gay president. When you look at the whole, when he signed the LGBT bill, like back in the like in the late 2000s, like 2009, 10, something around that, something around that way. But right at then, and when they actually had the rainbow flag painted, like with like the lights of the rainbow flag were across the White House, he let it be known that this is the type of time we on. So for him to come out and say this, it's not surprising to me. I mean, I think he had like the one story or something about he was having a dream about being with another guy. And then when you look into the fact that Michelle Obama said that she would not want to have a male child with Barack because she said, paraphrasing, oh, he would just be another Barack. Like it was a bad thing. I mean, wait, hold on. The guy did become president of the United States. I mean, that's got to be something to at least acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a historical feat that she can't measure up to. Like you just had to be the sidekick in that situation, and enjoy the ride. But looking at that, I really see that particular marriage between them like that. That's because that's really disrespectful, in my opinion. Like if my wife was to say like I wouldn't want a male child with him because that child will just be another him. I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? If you married me, you had two girls by me. Obviously, there's got to be something to me in order for you to stick it out this long with these two kids. So what is it about me that you just feel as though, oh no, if we had a boy, it wouldn't, it would just be another you, and that wouldn't work for me. Well, maybe the fact that Barack Obama says, you know what, having gay male role models is the thing that should be intended for children to have. And again, to each his own, to each his own. But I didn't have that, and I know a lot of guys who didn't have that, and they came out just fine. So that's his own personal opinion. He's entitled to it, but I completely disagree with that. And he has the right to think whatever he want to think. But nah, bro, I can't. I can't rock with that there. I can't rock with that there. That's just me. But again, do what you do. It's cool. You feel me? Anyway, moving on real quick. So Anthony McNeil down there in Jacksonville. All right, that video. When I saw that video where that young black man was sitting in that car and he opened up the door and he told the police, "Hey, bro, listen, this window it don't roll down. Okay, so how can I help you?" He's like, "Listen, you didn't have your lights on. It's inclement weather, bad weather, and you need to have your lights on." Now, if you look at the video, it didn't necessarily look like bad weather to me. I'm like, it might have been like a little cloudy, but not enough to turn your lights on. If I'm not mistaken, when the backup came, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have lights on. So I'm like, okay, so if your backup doesn't have lights on, but you stop me because I got lights on, what's this all about? So at that moment, the young man felt as though, okay, something bad is about to happen. Let me do what I can to protect myself. Hey, call your supervisor. I just need to speak to somebody. I'm afraid right now. Next thing you know, the officer says, "All right, do it." Boom, bust the glass. And as soon as they bust the glass, he's still sitting there. They punch him. He's like, "Show me." And the officer's like, "Show me your hands." He's like, "Here." Okay, what's up? Get out the car. They open the door, unbuckle his seatbelt, drag him out the car. wrestle with him up top. They sucker punch him again. That's the one that pissed me off. Was the second? It wasn't even the first. The first one pissed me off, but the second was like, yeah, you really, yeah, you was fiending for that second punch. Slammed him to the ground, broke his teeth. Benjamin Crump is representing him, so we already know it's gonna be a settlement. It's already gonna be a settlement. Now, how much is a settlement? I don't know. Will it be some type of talk about we need to forgive them for what they did? You know, they was wrong or whatever like that. Maybe depending on how Crump work out the settlement. But it's gonna be a settlement. That's all hook, line, and sinker. I mean, that's all he do. He ain't never, as far as I know, he ain't never like tried a case like all the way through and won. He's always settled. That's his thing. And he always tends to like get these cases like this where it's like, you know, definitely like a police violence, definitely like a black versus police type violence type cases. He always goes for them like all the time. And it's always a settlement, like every time. I ain't even want to say 99. I really say like 100%. But, you know, well wishes to Anthony McNeil, man. Bro, I just hope you get your just due. I hope the cops are brought to justice. I hope there's some type of punishment for this, because that's like just open vigilanteism to just, because of like the guy not having headlights on, that calls for you to call for backup and basically jump this man and then be looked at as like heroes for stopping a quote criminal because he had a little bit of drug paraphernalia. I think he had like a little bit of weed or something. And I think he might have had like a small knife. Now, you really needed there had to have been like 12 officers out there. You needed 12 officers for this kid. Like, I mean, he's a small guy. He ain't no big swole type. He's a small guy. But again, when you fear for your life, you're gonna quote do what's right in the eyes of the law. Right. Okay. Cool. But this is where we live, people. This is where we live. Now, Rick Ross versus 85 South show. Oh, snap. I didn't know all this came up here. Hey, what's up, y'all? Anyway, so Rick Ross versus the 85 South show. Now, for those of you who don't know, like Rick Ross, when he was on the 85 South show, he had like that multicolored Gucci jacket on or whatever. And he was like, yo, I'm about to go to the bathroom. All right, they was like, all right, cool. He goes to the bathroom, then he just take off. And it was like, you know, like, what the fuck? All right, now come to find out, now they beefing about it a little bit. And I ain't gonna say beefing. I mean, they just got like a little disagreement, but whatever. Anyway, so Ross was like in his pool and he was like, yeah, you know, I did that for free. I did that for the free. And here come DC. Look at little boy. Wrong boy, I told you, man, we got damn boy, man, boozing on that shit free, man. So many goddamn people did that shit free. So I thought that shit was funny. I thought that was funny. But then when the 85 South show went on Rory and Maul podcast, that's when DC broke it down for real. And he was like, you went to another podcast and you were so poised and elegant, and they asked you about being a correctional officer, and you just answered it just like it was so cool, like it wasn't disrespectful or nothing. But we over here at 85 South show would have never did that to you because we have respect for you. Now, what's the difference between that white podcast and us? Don't do us like that. Don't treat us like second class when we do nothing but show you respect. And I totally understand where DC is coming from. I completely understand where DC is coming from because he's right. He's absolutely right. If I show you grace and respect, do the same for me. If I invite you to my house, I welcome you in, I bring you food, I bring you drinks. Don't be like Rick James and come through my house with your dirty ass shoes on, hop on my couch and be like, fuck your couch, nigga, fuck your couch. No, I'm a nigga. Nigga. Man, I swear to God, boy, be like Charlie Murphy, like boom, 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 boom. I heard all the fucking. If you come in and disrespect my motherfucker, how man, you supposed to got your goddamn mind. I swear to God. But I feel where DC is coming from. I show you love, I show you respect, and in turn, you give me your ass to kiss. That's not cool. It's really not. So I see where DC is coming from, bro. Like, I would feel the same way. I would feel the same way. But anyway, lastly, man, let me go and get to this last part right here. And dang, I can't believe so many people came in this motherfucker. All right, but anyway. But this last part, man, looking the double XL freshman. The double XL freshman freestyle. Oh my God. I don't know where we have come to in history and in society today, in hip hop today, where this is considered okay. Like, I'm listening to these guys. Like, I mean, you had, I want to make sure I got the names right. You had 1900 Rugrat, Baby Chief Do It, Laser Dim 700, Ian, Rayvon, Samara Sen, YCB Fat, Los Shimmy, Nino Paid, M Triplin, and Jello. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Out of all of them, the dopest ones to me, I would say, is Rayvon, followed by Samara Sen, Baby Chief Do It, and I might throw M Triplin up in there. And Nino Paid, he was all right too. But the rest was like, But there was one, I think his name Laser Dim 700. This guy, like, he sounded like he didn't even want to rap. Like, he was just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and I'm looking at Double XL. I'm like, because y'all chose these dudes. So did y'all choose them based off of their talent and skill, or did you base them just off of virality? You see what I'm saying? Like, because and I really should do like a real breakdown on that. Like, I really want to do like a breakdown of like the double XL freshman, like started from the time they started in the late 2000s, I think like 2006, 7, like what, 7, 8, till today. Like, I really want to do like a whole breakdown on that, because I think that really needs to be studied to see how it started and how it, in my opinion, de-evolved into what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, shout out Rayvon. He was the strongest one out of all of them. Out of all, he was the absolute strongest one. So I definitely understand why Rayvon is on like the run that he's on right now, and salute to Rayvon. But going back to Double XL, y'all chose these dudes. So what was it about? I would love to talk to like the board who sat back and said, okay, who are we going to have this this year for the freshman class? Because, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like they're not even trying. I don't think they really like. I don't think they really I don't think they're really in love with music. I think they just look at it as a way to get paid. And when they're looking at it from that way, and when they're looking at it from when they're looking at it from that way, it's just like, okay, you're just looking at this as a check, so you don't really care about it. Also, Baby Chief Do It. This guy is funny. Like, I forgot, Baby Chief Do It. This guy is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I would listen just because, like, I know I'm gonna laugh when I hear him rap. So I didn't expect him to rap like that. I didn't expect for him to talk about the whole thing with the casket, the hot tooth spit on that. If you ain't heard that, if you ain't heard Baby Chief Do It on that double XL freestyle, man, prepare to be laughed. 1900 Rugrat, like, I haven't listened to him enough to know, because when I listen to him rap, it sounds like he's trying to put on some type of black scent. Like, I don't, for some reason, I don't know. Like, he could be, that could be him 1000%. I don't know. But it's just, when I hear it, it's just like, it just sounds like he's just like hella aggressive with just trying to sound like this deep, raspy black voice that I just I don't know. It's just something about it. Just it feels cosplay-y like to me, cosplay-ish like to me. But I could be absolutely wrong, and I'm fine with being wrong. I really am. But I don't know. Now, Ian, like, I didn't know about Ian until Tyler. Shout out Tyler, the creator. I didn't know who Ian was. I never heard about him before. And then, when I saw, the comments that Tyler made about him, I actually looked him up and I seen what, I'm like, okay, he's almost like mocking Future and Gucci Man. And I'm like, okay, I see where Tyler got that from. Like, I can see, like, okay, this kid looks like somebody who will be like just hot for like a quick little minute and then he'll just die out. I don't see how, because I mean, let's be honest. When's the last time we heard from Jack Harlow? Wasn't he like he was like one of the next guys up, one of the next guys up at one time, but we don't hear from Jack Harlow. At least I haven't heard from Jack Harlow. Now maybe somebody up in here can correct me if I'm wrong or not. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, but I haven't heard nothing from Jack Harlow. And I can't believe that 804 people are up in this month. Oh, hey, man, y'all make sure y'all get these likes up, man. I'm going to see if I can do this again. Because, hold on. I got 804 people. There's no way I got 804 people and I got 6 likes. What in the hell? 791 and only 6 likes. I don't. First of all, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. So thank you for that. But anyway, let me go back down this list. Yeah, with Ian, I don't know. I really don't know. I doubt he'll be around. YTB Fat, I know he's like big in the South. I'm not very, very familiar with YTB Fat. Like, I know he ran with, either he still runs with or he used to run with Moneybagg Yo. So I think he's from West Memphis, Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe like in the Southeast region, Southwest region, I'm sure he'll do fine, but I don't know if he'll go bigger than that. And hey, he can make a killing doing that. A lot of artists do it. Pastor Troy do it all the doggone time. G8 Twins, they was just out there in goddamn SeaWorld. So yeah, you can eat. You can damn sure eat. Hell, look at Lil Flip and Zero. They don't be putting out major songs like that. Them cats eating money like a motherfucker. Goddamn Sauce Walker, man. And Sauce Walker is somebody who's popping today. He don't be having big songs on the radio and this nigga eating. Texas. It's all about networking, getting in the right places and getting in front of the right people. You feel me? But anyway, Lil Shimmy, no. No. Good luck. I mean, I hope Butter to take off and make $100 million. I really do, but not for me. Nino paid. He was straight, like how he was telling his story. Like, I can dig Nino paid. I'm like, all right, he's kind of cool. I have to listen to more from him before I can be like, yeah, he's solid. But from what I heard, he was like, all right, he's all right. M Tripling, same thing. I have to hear more from him. I mean, when I heard him, he was like, all right, not too bad. Now, excuse me. Now, Jello, when you talk about he's been a gangster since 3 years old, that's why they call him G3. And I'm like, dog, we know your daddy. You feel me? Like, we saw y'all, bro. Like, you was playing basketball. What you talking about? You was a gangster. You stomping people up. Bruh. We saw you. We know your daddy, bro. You were not just some kid who just came up out the streets and then just popped off all the blue. No, we saw your daddy. We saw your brothers, man. We know who you is. You can't come out here and be talking like that. and I know his daddy, man, even with that one leg, man. I know his daddy looking like, what the hell this boy talking about being in the street? Nigga, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, boy, I raised you. Nigga, you grew up over here in the goddamn suburbs. Sit your ass down. Lord, boy, I tell you. There needs to be a whole nother like study on that. Like, what is it with like cats who come from the suburbs who like just get attracted to like being the street guy? Like, why? Do you not understand the dangers of it? Obviously not. And you know what I think it is that when they see that those type of guy get the reactions from men and women that deep down they desire, they want that. So they'll do whatever they got to do to get that type of attraction, to get that type of attention. So if I got to put on certain clothes, if I got to change up my dialect, if I got to change up my hair, if I got to, you know what I'm saying, change up how I dress, like I want that type of attention because I feel like that type of attention to put me in the place that I need to be. But here's the thing, there's other things that come along with that lifestyle that you may not be ready for. Look at Lil Meech. Damn. And I mean, your daddy was a big time dope dealer. You out here snitching on your partner, putting all the drugs and everything in his lab. So when 12 pull up, he got doggone, he getting blamed for the drugs or whatever like that. And then he gonna tell the police, hey, did y'all find everything on him? Y'all ain't find, because the police was like, they're about to let him go. I think they just caught him with the gun. And like, well, I mean, you in Florida, so we ain't gonna trip on that. He's like, nah, did y'all find anything else? And that's when like, what do you mean? He's like, did y'all find anything else? And then the police went and searched, and that's when they found the drugs and everything. And then then his friend got sent up the road. Got sent up the road for a couple of years. What I'm saying is that if you're not from there, if you're not from that life, if you wasn't born in that life, if you don't understand the full parameters of it, like inside and out, don't go in. Please don't. Because you're only going to harm yourself at the end of the day. Because there's certain things you have to understand how to navigate once you get into that lifestyle. And if you're not from that, if you wasn't born in that, you're not going to understand every type of danger that's in front of you. Just stick with being who you are. You're a great basketball player. You come from a great family. Just be that. Because believe it or not, the kids in the hood, they want to aspire to be somebody like, they want to aspire to be that because it's not like they enjoy living there. I mean, they live there because they have to. But if they had the money, you think they wouldn't live in the suburbs? You fucking right they would. But the kids in the suburbs, I get it. They understand the struggle. The struggle, there's a attractiveness to that struggle. There's an attractiveness to that pain. We can feel that pain, and it fuels us in a way that we're not necessarily, I guess, used, like from the suburbs, you're not really used to, because if you're used to having a certain level of comfort and luxury, to get the opposite of that is going to throw you off. Versus if you were already in that, then, you know, when bad things happen, it's just like, okay, well, bad things always been happening. I mean, I was born broke, so like, oh, you say we ain't got no bread? Oh, word. Well, I mean, we shit. I done went a couple weeks without bread. I lived. So we're used to that. Versus that suburb kid, if he look at that same situation, what? We don't have no bread. Oh my God, we're gonna die. Where's the bread? Like, relax, man. We just get some bread at the end of the week. They're not used to that. So why would you put on the chains? Why would you put on the tattoos? Why would you put on the vernacular? Why would you put on the attitude of being somebody from the street when you know that you're not? Easy. If that's the only way you see of being a manhood, if that's the only way you see manhood, if that's the only way you see yourself as being in charge, if that's the only way, then of course you're going to accept, you're going to adapt to those things. You're going to put on that costume. You're going to put on that vernacular because you want to feel that level of leadership and toughness. But tough, being tough, I'll say it like this. I'd rather be smart than be tough, personally. Because as you develop in life, the level of toughness is going to decrease. It's going to happen because you're going to start to balance out more. I didn't really mean to get this deep. I really, really didn't mean to get this deep. Oh, wow. Cool. But anyway, I really didn't mean to get this deep. But in closing, let me run this back. With a double XL freshman, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Listen, dog. Out of everybody, Ray Vaughn got it. He's number one. Baby Chief, he's pretty funny. Samara Sen, she's straight. That's really about it with me. Oh yeah, Nino paid and them tripling. But I'm gonna really do like a breakdown on like just the de-evolution of this whole double XL thing because this was an atrocity to see. Like, these is who you chose. These are the ones, like, we know y'all didn't choose these off of talent alone. Y'all chose these off of numbers. And from my understanding that typically the people who actually make it to the double XL, they already have label situations. So the label makes a call like, hey, this is our new guy, put him in, boom, boom, and we're gonna run it like that. So I get it. I would just urge artists today, like, don't look at this as like the bar. It used to be the bar. Like, I swear, I think from like 20, for me, from 2010, 11, 12, maybe 13. 12, 13. I might throw 14 up in there. I know after 2016, I stopped. After 20, I think after 2015 and 2016, I stopped. I was like, okay, because I think that's when it happened. Like around like that 2014, 15, definitely about 2016, the de-evolution was happening. Even though you still had stars that came out of that, true. But actually, I could probably argue it might have started in 2013, maybe 13, 14. It started happening around that time. But I have to do like a whole breakdown on that because that's a whole nother for a whole nother. You feel me? That's a whole nother video. But anyway, man, I'm gonna go and get up out here, man. Look. This is Carolina Cousin Right Way J. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with me on Instagram at one WRIGHTWAYJAY. Definitely tap in here with me on YouTube, Right Way J Music. Definitely tap on me on TikTok. Same thing, one WRIGHTWAYJAY. Look out for the Lost Soul Survivor podcast. Shout out Lil Cool TV. Definitely shout out Radio Pusher. Shout out 99.7 The Heat Miami. Power 102.8 LA. Nebula. Definitely shout out everybody who's been listening, paying attention, and following. Follow me on Facebook. Right Way J on Facebook. And hey man, we just gonna keep this thing running up, man. So I'm gonna tap in with y'all later. It's your Carolina Cousin Right Way J, and we out this mug.